What is up, guys? Eric here with TeamEccenTrick, and I'm bringing you guys some test hands featuring my Pendulum Pendymion deck. I figured I would document some going first scenarios with this deck just to kind of show the decision trees and the lines, the combo lines you can go down with this deck. I really do enjoy the playstyle of this deck because it's very sophisticated in how it functions. Being that you have to use spellcasters as your main resource, or spell counters rather, as your main resource. As well as the fact that it punishes bad resource mismanagement and it rewards good resource management. So it's a deck that you really have to know how to play, and I'm still learning a lot. I'm still figuring out how the deck functions in a lot of ways, but for the most part I feel like I kind of know what I'm doing. But we're all shuffled up, so let's draw our first test hand. It's going to start off with Magister of Pendymion, Abductor, Terraforming, Upstart Goblin, and Spell Power Mastery. That is certainly a hand here. So what I would start with is Abductor. Certainly scale the Abductor. Activate the Spell Power Mastery. Add the Servant. Abductor will get one spell counter from the inherent activation of Spell Power Mastery, and then one spell counter from its effect. So from there, activate the Servant. So that will give Abductor 3 spell counters. So from there, you use the 3 spell counters from Abductor's effect, and you add we will add the Harmonizing Magician. This will allow us to facilitate a lot of our plays later on, especially with our bigger, more, allow us to establish more negates. So from here, activate the Terraforming to search the Magical Citadel, which will give both Servant and Abductor 1 spell counter each. So that's 1. And from there, activate the Citadel. 2. Activate the Upstart Goblin, just to draw one. We drew the Mighty Master, and that's 3, and then Citadel has 1. From there, use Servant's effect, special summon. And then we can special summon from our deck the copy of Reflection, which will gain a spell counter, as well as the Servant gaining a spell counter. From there, link the Reflection and the Servant and go into a copy of Crowley. So Crowley's effect will trigger on summon, and we will reveal our spellbook engine. So Knowledge, Secrets, and then Blue Boy. So we will roll a 6-sided die to randomize and determine what card we're getting to our hand. Good thing is we haven't normal summoned yet, so in the event that we get the Blue Boy, we still have a normal summon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it rolled off camera, but we rolled a 2, which means we get the Blue Boy. Perfect. And then from there, you can normal summon the Blue Boy. So then Blue Boy's effect will trigger on summon and add us the secrets. From here, use the secrets, add the knowledge, which will give both Abductor and Citadel an extra spell counter. So Citadel's at 2, Abductor's at 4. From there, activate the Magister, giving this 5 spell counters, this 3. From here, we can actually yeah, so from here, we can knowledge away the blue boy to draw 2 cards. So another mastery and a pendulum call. Okay? And that will give 1 spell counter to Magister. That puts Magical Abductor at 6 and Citadel at 4. From here, what we could do is so we can activate Pendulum Call, ditch the Spell Power Mastery to add 2 Pendulum Magician monsters from our deck to our hand. So we're going to add Purple Poison and Black Fang, thus giving Abductor 7 spell counters, Magister 2, and Citadel 5. I'm going to die for this. 7 spell counters. This has 2 spell counters. And then Citadel has 5. From here, we can Pendulum Summon. So we will Pendulum Summon one, 2, 3, 4, and then on summon Effective Harmonizing Magician to special summon the Time Gazer Magician from the deck. Now, when you use the Harmonizing as a synchro material, all the other materials have to be magicians, as well as the one you special summon from the deck off of its on summon effect. It has to be banished, and also you can't special summon Harmonizing from the extra deck. So there's a lot of limitations that when I first picked up the Pendulum Magician engine, I didn't really understand, but I do now. So from here, we can overlay these two to go into the Time Star Magician, use its effect by detaching the Black Fang, and we will add a Dark Spellcaster. So we're going to add Astrograph Sorcerer. From here, we will synchro up the Time Gazer and the Harmonizing Magician into Odd-Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. So now Meteor Burst Dragon will special summon the Abductor. From there, you'll overlay the Pendymion and the Odd-Eyes Meteor Burst into Odd-Eyes Absolute Dragon. Then we will link Crowley and Absolute Dragon. Yes, Crowley and Absolute Dragon. And we'll link them into Cross Sheep, thus triggering Absolute Dragon in the graveyard to special summon from our extra deck a copy of Vortex Dragon. Now this is my favorite interaction in the deck. Cross Sheep will trigger, and we can target a level 4 or lower in the graveyard and special summon it. So we'll special summon the Black Fang. From there, we can, so we can link up the Abductor and the Time Star Magician into IP Masquerena. Then we can link the Black Fang and the Cross Sheep into the Celine. So now we can trigger these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spell cards. That is a lot of spells in the grave. So 9 spell cards, meaning Celine has 9 spell counters. Amazing. So from here, we can use Celine, and we can remove 3 spell counters from it. In fact, better yet, we'll remove 3 spell counters from the field spell because we haven't used its effect to substitute something. And we can special summon from our graveyard one copy of the Mighty Master. But it has to be to his own Selene points too. So we remove 3 spell counters from the Magical Citadel of Pendymion in order to substitute those spell counters for some of the ones on Selene, thus giving Selene still 3 summons. From there, we can honestly pass turn. Reason being, because during our opponent's turn, they will have to play through quite a few different interruptions in the forms of Odd-Eyes Vortex Dragon, right? So Odd-Eyes Vortex Dragon, we would send back the Harmonizing Magician, right? Negate something. Then we have IP Masquerade's effect, which we will link up. Depending upon your line of play, you can do multiple things. You could use Selene's effect, remove 3 spell counters, putting it at 6 to special summon the purple poison back in case your opponent were to try to destroy something or destroy your board. Or, even if not, you can special it back, and then right at that point use IP Masquerade's effect, link all these into an Apollosa with 3 negates, and you still have the Astrolabe Sorcerer in your hand. So there's a lot of different disruptions this board can do. Definitely not bad at all. I would say honestly a very strong board. So that is one board. So we're gonna get all these cards shuffled up, and we will go into the next test hand. So give me a moment, guys, and I'll be right with you. Alright guys, so we're shuffling it up and we'll get right to it now. So, our next test hand will consist of Instant Fusion, Time Gazer Magician, Chronograph Sorcerer, Magical Abductor, and the Grand Spellbook Tower. Not terrible, not amazing. The Time Gazer Magician, drawing the Time Gazer Magician is definitely not optimal. However, we can make it work. So, scale the Abductor, activate the Grand Spellbook Tower, putting 1 spell counter on Abductor, activate Instant Fusion, paying 1,000, special summon the Millenniumizer Strict, putting 2 spell counters on Abductor, scale the Chronograph Sorcerer, putting 3 spell counters on Abductor, so then use Abductor's effect. Remove 3 spell counters. Here we add the Harmonizing Magician. And then from there, we must, in fact, Pendulum Summon. So, Pendulum Summon Time Gazer, Harmonizing, effect of Harmonizing. Special summon the Black Fang from the deck. So link up the link up the Black Fang, which makes it banish when leaving the field, and the Millenniumize. And then you go from here into Crowley. So now the effect of Crowley, reveal 3 spellbook cards. So Blue Boy, which we haven't normal summoned yet, so that's relevant. Knowledge, and Secrets. And this is really good because no matter what we get, we have an outlet to get rid of instead of having to get rid of the Crowley. So that's relevant. But we will have to roll. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Roll 3. So that's the knowledge. Not what we would have wanted, but it's still okay. here, activate the knowledge, send the Grand Spellbook Tower to draw 2. That gives Abductor a spell counter. From here, Synchro for 7. Meteor Burst Dragon, effective Meteor Burst Dragon, special like Chronograph Sorcerer. From here, link up the Chronograph and the Crowley into Celine. So Celine will get 1, 2, 3 spell counters, which is all we really need. So it'll have 4 spell counters. Or 1, actually. 1, 2, 3, yep, 4 spell counters. And from there, use its effect, remove 3. Special summon Millennium Miser Strict from the grave. And then link this and this. Into Apollosa with 2 negates. And you can always scale the Chronograph Sorcerer. And yeah, so not the best. There are definitely better lines of play. Had we not gotten the knowledge immediately, we probably would have had more plays. But that is the nature of the game with this deck. So we will do one more test hand and we'll see how it goes. So give me a moment to shuffle up and we'll get right to it. Alright, so our final test hand will consist of Black Fang, Blue Boy, Citadel, Mastery, and Abductor. Wow, okay, so this is definitely a playable hand. So from here, what I would do is activate the Citadel first. Then, activate the Abductor, thus putting 1 scale on Citadel. Then activate the Mastery, and add Servant. Now, so Abductor will get 1 spell counter, and then we will Citadel will get another spell counter, putting it at 2, but then Mastery's effect will put it at 3. Better yet, actually, we will put that other spell counter on Abductor rather. So then they both have 2. This is the way to space out your spell counters. Scale the Servant. This will be 3 spell counters. And this will also be at 3 spell counters. So now we substitute 3 spell counters for Servant. So Servant, special summon Mighty Master. So now that will get a spell counter as well as Servant having a spell counter. From there, we can use Abductor's effect, remove 3 spell counters. And we will add Harmonizing Magician from our deck to our hand. Now we have yet to normal summon. So, we will normal summon the Blue Boy, use its effect, add the secrets. And then from here, we can link up the Blue Boy and the Servant into Crowley. So now Crowley's effect will trigger. We will reveal the Grand Spellbook Tower, secrets, and knowledge. So from here, we will roll a 6-sided die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we rolled 1, which will be knowledge. Not terrible. It's not bad at all. From here, we will so from here we will activate the secrets. So secrets will get us the Grand Spellbook Tower, thus giving Abductor 1 spell counter and Citadel 1 spell counter. From there, we will activate Knowledge, and we will send the Grand Spellbook Tower from a hand to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. So we gotta shuffle because it's at the top. So we draw Terraforming and the Pendymion. And then this gets 2 spell counters, as does the Abductor. Alright, so from there, scale the Black Fang, putting Abductor at 3, as well as Citadel. And then from there, you can link summon the Pendymion and the Crowley, since we're not going to be getting any more spell counters. Or better yet, in fact, don't link summon, because this might work a little better to get more resources. So from here, yeah, just pendulum summon straight from your hand. So pendulum summon the other Mighty Master, the Harmonizing Magician, and then use the Harmonizing Magician's effect. Harmonizing Magician will special summon a magician monster from your deck, so we'll special summon the Time Gazer Magician. From there, we can synchro these 2, banishing the Time Gazer, and then the Harmonizing can't be special summoned from the extra deck. And we will summon out Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. So Meteor Burst Dragon effect to special summon the Black Fang. From here, overlay these 2, and we will go into the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. From there, we will link up the Absolute Dragon and the Crowley into Cross Sheep. Absolute Dragon will trigger Engrave to special summon a fusion monster in the form of Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. Now this is my favorite interaction in the deck. I love it so much. Vortex Dragon will thus trigger Cross Sheep. Special summon Blue Boy back. From here, from here we will link up the Blue Boy and the Cross Sheep. We'll go into Selene. So Selene will gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spell counters. So, at 6 spell counters, it has 2 different summons. So from here, we will use 3 spell counters, and we will special summon the Blue Boy. From there, we will link summon the Black Fang and the Blue Boy to an IP Masquerena. And then from there, we can end our turn. So the amount of disruptions we have now is ridiculous. And here's why. So we have the Vortex Dragon as an Omni Negate, so we can send back the Harmonizing Magician, so that way we can summon it back later on. We have Selene, but Selene's effect, we can substitute Citadel of Pendymion's spell counters for Selene's, and we can special summon the Pendymion here. Right, so then if your opponent were to activate a spell or trap card, Using Pendymion's effect, bounce the abductor, and then from there, he will gain those spell counters. Then, we can use IP Masquerade's effect, link these, into the Nightmare Unicorn, use its effect, discard the terraforming, spin something back. And then obviously during our turn, we have the upstart and we have one more special summon. So that is basically the general gist of how this deck is supposed to function. I really do enjoy the playstyle of this deck. It's honestly very strong. You do get some wonky hands sometimes, but nonetheless, the deck can still put out at least a couple of negates, just inherently in the form of the Jackal King, even by itself, as well as Instant Fusion with the Millenniumizer Strict, which I think is a really nifty idea in this deck. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I really appreciate the views you guys give us. I know we haven't been posting in a while. I've been meaning to post, and I decided to do the test hands finally. And I plan on doing test hands for pretty much every deck I own. So, like I said, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Eric here, TeamEccenTrick. I'll see you in the next one. Signing out.